Hi everyone. So I wanted to do this video today to explain the relevance and importance of labour market and why sort of understanding and knowing what the labour market is around certain careers when you're considering changing your job or going into a new type of job. So changing your industry or, going for a new type of job. So it could be that, for example, you currently work in education, you're a teacher, and you're looking to actually do something completely different within the education sector. Or, you are just considering an overall career change that requires you to go to university again, do a postgraduate, do a master's, or even just do a professional type of exam. So before you really think about that and you research and you talk to a careers advisor, one other piece of advice I want to share is that it's important for you to know, if there are jobs out there for you. I have had a lot of people get in touch with me and ask me, Shoma, I want to be a careers advisor. What is the market or what is the advice that you would give me for that? And that's really the only type of thing that I would do if I was working with a client one-on-one. But one thing that I'll say around careers advice is there are jobs for careers advisors. Yes, there are. And there are certain qualifications that you need to do. But it's very important for you to think about the fluidity of that job. Is there a need for me, or is there a need for this job in our society, in our wider society? So, for example, some of the areas that really need people to retrain in those jobs are teachers, doctors, nurses. If you looked at labour market stats, these are all professions that urgently need people to train as all of those professions. If you look within the HR field, it seems to grow all the time. Project management, IT. IT is vastly competitive, but there's lots and lots of different roles that you can go into. And you may ask, but how can I find out if there are jobs available? So there are a couple of things that you can do. You can go on the Guardian website and see what jobs are available and look at those jobs and think, is this the type of role I could be doing if you're thinking about changing your job within your industry? If you're thinking about having a complete career change, depending on the type of qualification you do, so if you do a postgraduate which trains you for a specific job, you need to see if they are going to help support you to find a job and to be in that career, because a lot of postgraduates, that's ultimately what they're training you for, So for example, if we look at occupational psychology, within occupational psychology, it's a master's qualification. There is a level of helping the students train and have that support. It's the same if you did a postgraduate in teaching or a postgraduate in careers guidance, which is why I'm giving these examples. You're training for a specialist and specific career that's, going to allow you to have a job, right? But the reason I want to mention this is because a lot of people don't take this into account. A lot of people may train or go into a profession without seeing if there is availability for jobs. And if you change your career, if you change your job within your industry, it's important that you have a job or you have money coming in, and it's important that if you're going to take that risk, that you're going to have income coming in, because there might be some sacrifices that you have to make along the way. You may have to work part-time. You may have to consider working full-time while studying. A lot of people have to do that. You may have to think about moving and, doing a few other things. So there will be certain sacrifices that need to be made if you are, considering this. And if suppose you work in finance and you want to go into ACCA or you want to do a CIMA qualification and you're already working, you're going to probably have to study at night and work around your job and do other things that are going to require you to work, maybe longer hours or, have the sort of less social time with your friends and family. So, really think about this one for a minute. And, I am sort of going back to some of my old careers advisor roots here, but I feel this is an important one because it's often an area that people don't look into. they don't look into it and they don't take the time to really address this. So, for example, there are a lot of people who train in psychotherapy and train in other areas, and these professions are really, really much needed. They're really, really needed. But I remember reading an article a while ago where they were saying that there's an oversaturation of counsellors and there's an oversaturation of psychotherapists in certain professions. And because of that, a lot of people are training in these professions, but they're not getting jobs. And it's the same with the IT sector sometimes. Because it's so broad and because it's an avenue that changes so much, even though there are loads of jobs in that industry, it's very competitive. So it's about making sure that if you really, really want to do something, that you think about the options available to you and you think about the labour market according to the availability of our employers looking for people in this job, what has changed, how is the industry evolving. I feel it's important to know this because now I speak to a lot of careers advisors and they're able to get jobs and there is a need. And, since it's become privatised, people are finding jobs freelance and, they're finding different ways of working. But I remember a few years ago when people were really struggling to find work in careers advice and they changed their careers because they had to, or they had to set up businesses like I have. So I want you to really seriously think for yourselves, if you're going to change your career, if you're going to change your job in your industry, that you do the research behind your labour market stats so that even if you do come to someone like me and you get further support, you're aware that there is availability for the job or the profession that you want to go into. So I really hope that this video has helped you a little bit. If you have any opinions about this or you want to discuss this more, please comment below. If you, have just watched this video and you're like, I'm still a bit lost, how do I look into this? Then please get in touch with me. I'd be happy to, have a very brief discussion with you about this. But, please do consider this. It's an important area that many people overlook. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful day.